I think the three in midfield are essential. They're a necessity. They're going to try go toe-to-toe. It's not going to end well. Expect plenty of goals in this one. I'm going with Barcelona 4, Real Madrid 3. The greatest spoiler in football history. I mean, wow. Just when the spoiler thinks he can't elevate to the next level, just when I think, is there anything more we can do? We go spoil the biggest game in football on the grandest stage of them all, exactly like the game went. Now, I've had some spoilers in my time, but this one in a league of its own. We'll get immediately into it because a lot of people, you know, they were talking, they were attacking the spoiler, claiming, you know, you started the weekend poor, blah 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 blah. Because it went exactly like I told you it was gonna go. There's no team that can go toe to toe with Barcelona. Nobody, apart from maybe us, but even us, we approach it differently. I said this during the stream. First and foremost, I'm not even going to address any of the controversial episodes because for me, Alejandro Jose Hernandez refereed El Clasico perfectly. I haven't seen a better refereeing performance from a El Clasico ref in ages. It's always, and he had some tough decisions to make. In my opinion, he got every single one of them spot on. Apart from maybe the second goal where you could have said there could have been a Frankie de Jong handball. But that one is controversial. I didn't see it fully either. I don't know how long it took until he got it. So a lot of question marks. But either way, you don't have to dive too deep into the tactical analysis, right? Because as soon as Real Madrid went 2-0 up, I still said I'm calm, Barca will overturn this. Because at the end of the day, whichever way you slice it, it's a Barcelona team coached by one of the greatest managers in the world at the moment, and a Real Madrid team without a coach. You can say injuries this and injuries that, and I fully understand that, right? That defense, it was always going to suffer. But they never looked like they had a plan. They didn't. It was, again, a phenomenal individual performance. Kylian, I salute you. I feel bad that you ended up on the losing end in a game like that, honestly. Terrible from, obviously, Vasquez and Ceballos, horror show. I said this during the game. With Barcelona, right, you can't concede a set piece. You can't give them 2 goals. They can score at will. You can't give them goals. Because they scored 6 goals against us. Every single one of those goals was incredible. But the worst thing you can do is if you give them. And to me, Real Madrid gifted them 3 of the 4. Then you have no chance. Then you're finished. Shocking stuff. I've said this as well before the game. It was no way it was sustainable for Real Madrid to come out with in a Clasico with 4 players. 4 attacking players, Bellingham, Vinicius, Goulet, Mbappe. Go watch what I said exactly before the game. I told you, no chance. It was never going to work. As for Barcelona, I'm running out of superlatives. For Barcelona to win La Liga in the manner in which they just have, in the fashion in which they did it, this player here, he should have had 4 assists, you know, because everybody praising Rafinha and he gets man of the match. He didn't deserve man of the match. Lamine Yamal, again, sensational. Should have had, like I said, at least 3 or 4 assists. One of them was a literal open goal. But the hero for me, the person that will not get the credit because he doesn't have a goal contribution was Frankie de Jong. He absolutely bossed that football match. And a massive shout out to Christensen as well. For Real Madrid, it's a rude awakening because whether you like it or not, like I've told you since day one, you can praise him for what he's achieved at the club. Go watch the Truth About Ancelotti video. Most overrated manager in football history. Time is up, finally. Xabi Alonso, new era. He's got a lot of work to do. That was, of course, what we analyzed to perfection. But our weekend started on Friday. Milan, ever since they've shifted to 3 at the back, this one we got wrong. They look incredible. But Bologna made 3 substitutions ahead of the cup final against Milan, and they ended up losing the game. You can attack the spoiler, but it's unforgivable. You're fighting for Champions League, you don't take players off. And it was an American and a Mexican combining. Santi Jimenez, impressive, very impressive, off the bench. But my days were not getting better, because how on earth did City, well, I say how on earth did they not win the game? They didn't deserve to win that game. I don't understand Pep. You have a full week's rest. He benches the two fullbacks that were providing the attacking threat. He comes out with no wingers. It looked like City could play for hours and they wouldn't score. But even when they bring on the winger, Jeremy Doku, zero end product. Just not good enough. On Haaland's return as well, disappointing performance. City are lucky that some others have dropped points, but the pressure was on now, especially with them having to play an FA Cup final before. Then I shifted to Italy, where again I got it wrong because I said Lazio would beat Juventus, and to be honest with you, we got this game completely wrong because Juventus were the better team. I was very impressed by Colomwani. I thought he was cooking on high heat, but then Kalulu made an unforgivable decision to get red carded, and then Lazio, it was inevitable they'll get the equalizer. They left it very late, and ironically, it's Mattias Vecino, the former Inter player, who scored a crucial goal at that same stadium for Inter against Lazio to get Inter Champions League football. Could that goal get Lazio Champions League football? We'll see. So, disappointing Saturday all in all. Massive shout out to Villa. That was a big, big win. That was their toughest of the three remaining, I believe. It got concerning at the end, but they seen it through. But then where the spoiler shined was, of course, on Super Sunday. I say shined. It didn't begin well because I had Chelsea winning this. And again, you can attack me, but this game is entirely on Nicholas Jackson. I said on stream and I'll say it again. I was mega, mega impressed by Chelsea in that second half. For me, they won the midfield battle even with 10 men. Caicedo, monstrous player. Lavia was phenomenal that second half after that shaky start. Tonali, of course, shout out to him because he fought, but they ate them up after that. Was very impressed with Chelsea apart from two players, Palmer and him. He should not wear a Chelsea shirt ever again. After that, I don't care that he's got a 9-year contract, whatever the hell he's got, end it. And shame on every single Chelsea fan that had the audacity to claim that he or they don't need a replacement, they don't need a striker. Cowards. He's not good enough for Chelsea. He never will be. Unforgivable. May have just cost Chelsea the Champions League. And I have a theory. Could he have done it on purpose? Because he now knows that maybe they can't replace him with no Champions League football. Sadistic loser. But then that's where the disappointment for the spoiler ended, because from then on it was perfect. My good friends, the worst manager in Premier League history, my good friends, talk to me, United fans. On Thursday you claimed you've got the best right winger in the league in Amad Diallo. You claim that you have the best centre-back with Lenny Yoro. You've claimed that Mason Mount is back and wow, Bruno Fernandes best midfielder in the league. What about today then? Or today, is it back to you have a worse squad than Wolves? Is that the narrative? It changes game after game to try and defend this absolute loser manager. Worse than Frank de Boer, and I'll stand by it. The worst thing that can happen to Manchester United is if you root or if you want United to win that Europa League. Because if you're a proper fan, you'd want Spurs to win it. Because if you win Europa League and you have a summer where you give this guy everything he wants, he'll be gone by November anyways, and you're stuck with his players. In disbelief at what I'm seeing. And United fans have accepted this. They've deluded themselves into now thinking that all of this is irrelevant and it's all on the Europa League and we're resting players and this and that. This has become the norm at Manchester United. Pathetic what's happened at that football club. He has to go whether he wins or not the Europa League. He has to go just like Ange should. I forgot to say something, by the way, for the Chelsea game. Bold prediction already. That second half has convinced me Chelsea can win the league next season. If they get a striker. Even with all the deficiencies in the team. That's how impressed I was. Then I shifted to Dortmund, of course, where I predicted 3-2 Dortmund. It finished 4-2 Dortmund. I must confess it was a big win for Dortmund because now that means Champions League football potentially is in their hands. They need to win by 2 or more goals to secure it. I'll confess, I don't know how Leverkusen were in 4-0 up in the first half. They were significantly better than Dortmund. Dortmund hung in the game and they ended up winning via a ruthless, sadistic performance. Niko Kovac, I questioned you at the start. but I tip my hat to you now if I was wearing one. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Then of course after El Clasico, I shifted. Actually, no. Before we get into Serie A, let's leave Serie A at the end, because there were a couple of other big results. Forest dropping points. Unfortunately, I thought Forest would win that comfortably. Nobody seen that coming. I think they are in big trouble now. Palace should have won that by 4 or 5. Same thing as United. Both Anjan and Amorim. Shocking. But then, of course, we correctly spoiled a draw in this game. It was one of those that went how I envisioned. I mean, I wasn't expecting Liverpool to take a 2-0 lead, but I knew Arsenal will show resilience. And when Darwin Núñez starts coming on and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? I'm calm. Mo Salah, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This guy was just trying to stamp at assists. He didn't even shoot the ball once. It was hilarious. He just wants the 20 assists, but he doesn't realize he's playing with absolute bums. Liverpool needs 7 players. I'll stand by that. And you know the drill by now. Worst Premier League champions of all time. So this is how the Champions League race looks like in England now. I do believe that it's going to be City, Newcastle and Villa. Because Chelsea have that last game against Forest. As impressed as I've been, it's going to be tough on that last one. And Villa will win the 2 against United and Spurs, because United and Spurs will feel their B team. And even if they're feeded their A team, it doesn't matter. Villa will probably win both. So that's what my prediction is. Then, of course, we shifted to Italy. In the pouring rain, Inter played with their second team, and Zalewski, who played as a midfielder for the first time in his career, I believe, at least definitely for Inter, scored an unbelievable goal, and from then on it was a resolute champions performance. We wanted to put the pressure on Napoli, and we did exactly that. You cannot let Napoli win this. Put the pressure on them. And sure enough, Patrick Vieira done a massive service for Inter. And there's a title race in Italy again. Napoli now need to drop one more game. They need one point difference. If Napoli draw one game and Italy win the last 2, Inter win the last 2, Inter will be crowned champions of Italy. In the top 4 race, Juventus had it in their hands. They've now threw it away. It's in Roma's hands, but they have some tough matches. Incredible late drama. I made a team of the week as always. I put Manuel Neuer. I put Eric Garcia, Bastoni, and Gila from Lazio, who was phenomenal. Frankie de Jong, masterclass, and Pedri, a lot of Barca players as you expect. Yamal and Rafinha, even though Rafinha missed some chances. And then I put Pulisic in behind the 2 strikers, because Kylian Mbappe, how on earth you on the losing side, I will never know. And Solot scored an impressive 4 goals in a single game. My flops 11, buy in there. He's better than Onana, they said. Yeah, please. Lucas Vasquez. Chouameni, I feel for Chouameni, because he's not a centre-back, and he was playing good football, and then he gets chucked at centre-back again with the injuries, and it was a disaster. Kalulu, like I mentioned, may have single-handedly cost Juventus Champions League football. Mikel Merino, I couldn't care less about that goal that he scored. Flop of the season in the Premier League. Enough. Ceballos, horror show. Arda Güler, I expected so much more from him. Phil Foden, back in the team. Back disappointing. Harvey Barnes, if I speak, they're going to lock me up. One of the lowest IQ footballers I've ever seen. And up front, it's a very familiar pairing. Rasmus Højlund and, of course, Nicolas Jackson, who, just like Kalulu, may have cost his team Champions League football. That's it from the spoiler. Got a vid coming up on Wednesday, and then, of course, Friday. I'll be in Stockholm this week, but I'll hopefully be able to record the spoilers, because yet again, it was a successful weekend after a rocky start. Phoenix.